Welcome! It's a great day to be a miner because we got some new hardware, baby. We're gonna get this thing unboxed, go over the specs, the features, the cost, where to buy it, and all that other fun jazz. But first, let's spin that intro. Here it is, finally! We finally got one of these in hand. This is the Canaan Avalon Nano 3S. The S stands for super awesome and amazing. So yeah, it's the newest iteration of the Canaan Avalon Nano 3. Basically, it's really similar. It puts out about the same kind of heat, runs the same amount of power, but it's running at 150% more hash rate on that same power usage. So we're gonna unbox it and check it out, and then we'll go over the specs, the features, of course. Then we'll talk about how much it costs, where you can buy it, profitability, and of course, we'll go over the full setup. So without further ado, you know what time it is, baby. RGB knife, engage, never gets old. So let's open this guy up and see what's in the box. Where did we buy this? First and foremost, we'll just go ahead and touch on where we picked this one up. This one came directly from Indiegogo, which, if you're not familiar with Indiegogo, it is like a crowdsourcing Kickstarter type site that does new projects. Canaan exclusively launches their products on here recently with the Nano 3, the Nano 3S, the Avalon Q, the Canaan Avalon Mini 3. By the way, check that video out above. We go in depth. That thing is amazing. It is a baseboard heater that also mines Bitcoin. The thing is amazing. So yeah, check out the video. But yeah, without further ado, let's check this thing out. So first and foremost, it's a brown box and then a nice box inside a box. It'll clean up. Okay, so first impressions, you got the box kind of like an Apple product or like a cell phone, packaged really well. Cellophane wrapped inside of the box. So let's take off the clear plastic. Box is really nice, by the way. It says Avalon Nano 3, and then it's got a really cool long slash for the S that goes back across there. So yeah, there's that guy. Let's get the plastic off. It comes in, unlike the Nano 3, it only comes in two different colors. It comes in the black and the white variants, whereas you had 5 different color variants for the 3. You had pink, you had midnight blue, black, white, and of course the cool canary looking yellow that's behind me. All right, so yeah, like I said, it looks kind of like a cell phone packaged. It's pretty heavy and it's a bigger box than the original Nano 3 came in. So that's kind of interesting. Let's open this guy up. Well packaged. I picked up the white version. I just thought it would look better on the shelf behind me. So yeah, there it is. First and foremost, comes right out of the top. Interesting that the little removable plate was laying there. So we'll do a really close-up visual inspection of this thing, and then we'll go over the changes and the features on this thing. But there are some definite noticeable changes. So yeah, that just magnets on just like the other version. The back part is not removable anymore. It looks like it's solid with the casing. And obviously you have a little round LED or a round display instead of the small square one, and it's supposed to have some upgraded functionality. A touch button right here. Then the side has a USB slot, and that's where your Wi-Fi adapter will plug into. It doesn't come integrated within it. Other than that, it's very similar to the old build. I am missing a rubber foot right off the bat, so we'll see if that's in the box somewhere. Missing, it has 4 rubber feet to pick it up off. Where in comparison, it's a little different. This one just had almost like rubber stick-on feet. This one actually has heavy-duty feet that kind of stick up out of the screw hole wells, so that's kind of interesting. The back actually has a slide filter now, so the filter will slide down instead, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, let's see what else is in this box. Gotta find that foot. That's not gonna roll for me. I mean, I do prefer to have it set up like this anyway for better cooling, but I digress. So let's see what else is in this box. All right, on the top we have a documents Wi-Fi module. So the Wi-Fi module will be in this little slim box here. It's got a little key like a cell phone to take out like an SD slot. So that's interesting. Let's just open this guy up real quick and take a look inside. And there is our little Wi-Fi adapter. It's just a little mini USB. And we'll slot that onto our side here. Let's go ahead and plug it in just so we already have it there. Easy peasy for our Wi-Fi. And look, there's a hole in this box right here where during shipping it must have pushed in, and there's my other rubber foot. We'll just jam it back where it goes. There we go. Ha, success. Inside here, what else is inside here? I bet we have instructions. We obviously aren't going to read those, but if you guys want to look at your instructions, it'll be within here. There is a card that says connect to the world's leading crypto mining pool. This is an F2 pool card, and this is how to do a quick setup with this guy and connect it to F2 pool. We're not going to be using F2 pool for this. And then you have a really nice thick Nano 3S manual inside of there. Now let's see if there's anything else in here. There is a card that says AC adapter at the bottom. So that's why the box is significantly larger. The power adapter comes included in this type of a setup. I did buy it with the included power adapter. And then there is a user manual for the power adapter. I'm not sure why you need a user manual to use a power adapter. And let's take a look at our power brick. So there is our power brick, and that's one of the features. Supposedly this is a much improved power unit with better components, better tested, and generally when you go to your next model and the power usage hasn't changed and they've worked out more of the kinks, that it should in theory be a better option. So I guess we'll find out. And then the only last part is the other part of the power cable. All right, here is our other piece of our power cable. So yeah, that's everything that's in the box. So let's clear out some of this and then we'll go over the specs and features. Ready, go. Okay, so let's go over what the base description is on this thing. It's the Avalon Nano 3S, the new portable heater that also mines crypto. I love that Canaan with this and the Mini 3, their main topic is the heater portion, and then, and by the way, it mines crypto too. So that's interesting. And then they go on to state that the Avalon Nano 3S features a more optimized design from the inside out, bringing not only a more stylish and sharp appearance and a more comfortable and intelligent hot air, but also a brand new generation of computing power chips. So yeah, they had to use upgraded Asic chips to get more hash rate with better efficiency and use the same exact amount of power. So of course, it is increased as much as 50%. So yeah, this unit is 150% of the previous unit, since it's going from 4 terahash up to 6 terahash on the same amount of power. The upgraded Avalon Nano 3 offers a better cost to performance. That's debatable. It depends on how much you were able to pick up the 3 versus the 3S. Originally, that was about $100, and this is significantly more than $100. So cost to performance, maybe, maybe not. All right, so let's go over the features first, the upgrades on this thing, and then we'll go into the specs. So first and foremost, it has new hardware structure, appearance, and design. Again, we've already touched on some of these. It says the circular LED screen offers better display effects. It does have some color on there, and it does give you better information. The added dust-proof filter, we showed you, that pulls out from the back right here, has a couple clips, and pulls out from the back. So that is a new quality of life improvement. The USB port supports USB port supports Wi-Fi module LAN access. So yeah, technically you could use an adapter into here and do USB to Ethernet, and you could actually direct plug this in. And we all know that if you're direct plugged in, you have lower latency, and of course that's better for mining and probably a slight tiny bit better chance of hitting a block, but then you don't get the portability and the of moving the miner around and connecting to Wi-Fi. So And then it gives another feature that says the safety integrated air outlet design, which doesn't seem to be any different than the previous. Okay, and now touching on the adapter, of course, like I said, it's a new improved adapter. It says it's more stable, high quality GAN 140 watt adapter. And then it says optional US or EU standard plugs. Of course, we got the US. Okay, so now let's go over the specs on this guy. It says Y is an S. So Avalon Nano 3S is a simpler way to get Bitcoin. Of course, it runs on 6 terahash. As we had mentioned, there's 12 chips in there, 4 nanometer process, so 4 nanometer by 12 chip. It has the USB that is removable, so that technically now you have the option to plug this one direct, whereas that one has the built-in Wi-Fi, and that means you could not actually ever plug that one directly in. The power supply upgrade, 20 volt, 28 volt, 5 amp, 140 watt, more stable with PD 3.1 protocol. So it's supposed to be a better longevity, safer to run at full power for a longer distance. And then our dimensions on this guy, 205 by 115 by 58 millimeters. We'll post on the screen what that means in US terms, since, you know, US standard. And then our weight, this thing weighs 0.86 kilograms. Again, we'll put that in pounds up above. And so it doesn't mention the actual hash rate, so we'll go into the hash rate modes in a bit and the different power usage once we get it set up in mining, because there's, of course, the advertised 6 terahash on the 140 watt, but then there are 2 other modes for lower, if you have a low, a medium, and a high hash rate mode. As I've stated in any of my previous videos, make sure to check out the full setup in depth videos on this guy behind me. As I've went into depth on those, I run mine those on medium. They've been running on medium mode since I got them. 0 issues. I had 4 of them. I'm down to 3. We did a giveaway on 1. We actually gave away a brand new one as well. So we had like 5 or 6. We had 6 of them at one time. We gave away 2. Then gave away 1 used one, and now we're down to 3 of them. We have 2 behind us, as you can see, 2 yellow ones back there. One's running on Bitcoin Cash, one is running on Bitcoin. So yeah, without further ado, that's the specs, the features, and the description of this guy. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up and hashing. Let's go. All right, first, physical setup. What do we do to get this thing physically set up to get it mining? So pretty simple. First and foremost, you put your little USB Wi-Fi adapter in there, or your USB to Ethernet adapter, and then you plug your connector together here. You're gonna plug in your brick. You're gonna plug this guy into the wall. And then you're gonna plug, it uses a USB-C. We're gonna plug that in right here into the back. Plugged in. And now we're gonna plug this into the wall, and we're gonna plug it into our power meter so we can get accurate results on how much power we're using on each mode. So let's plug that thing in, go. All right, we're plugged in, and right off the bat, as soon as it plugs in, the Avalon Nano logo pops there with the beautiful triangle. And then it says, hi. Yeah, hi, just like the Mini 3, except itty bitty says hi right in the middle. And then it says, please configure the network with Avalon Family App. So that is one thing with this guy and a lot of these Canaan products, is that you have to use the actual Canaan Family App. And if you don't know how to get that in your manual, there is a QR code. And then underneath, I believe there is also a QR code that you can scan. Yeah, a QR code on the bottom. Scan that QR code. It'll take you to download the app. Download, install that app. First thing you do when you're in the app, change your password so that it's your password. Then we're going to go through the add the device. We're not going to go through the entire full in-depth setup. If you want to see that again, check out my previous video on the 3 because it's exactly the same, or the video on the Mini. It's the exact same thing. So we're going to go launch our app, and then we're going to add this device, Avalon Family. So then as soon as it pops up, it shows any of my devices that I've already added. I've only got one of the Nano 3s on there, and I've got the Mini 3 just hashing away, 39.8 terahash. That thing is a beast. 39.8 terahash on 795 watts, well above advertised. Advertised is 37.5 terahash on 800 watts. So yeah, the Mini 3 is crushing it. Loving the Mini 3 up to this point. So anyway, we're in here, we've got our app loaded. The next thing we want to do is in the top right corner, we're going to hit the 3 bars. We're going to hit new device because we want to get this new device. Then we're going to choose the new device. We've got Nano 3 Mini or Nano 3S. Eventually, I bet you it'll have the Q on here, but we're going to hit Nano 3S. Then it says, please approach your device, and then hit search. So be close enough, hit search, and then it says please approach your device, stop. So it is searching to try to connect to this, and then right away it found it. That quick, it found it live time. Mine says nan 3s underscore, and then it has like 4 digits. So we're just going to click on it, and then it says please confirm that the machine is about to be connected. So of course we're going to say yes, of course we want to connect this thing. Hit connect, hit connect. Now it says connecting, and it says succeeded. The next part is easy peasy. We add our Wi-Fi SSID. If you hit the box, it should pull in your Wi-Fi SSIDs. Select the SSID that you want to connect to. Put in the password. Make sure it's typed correct, exact, and then hit save. Okay, once you connect to your device, to your SSID, your Wi-Fi, it will say succeeded, and then it'll say, would you like to change your password? Initial password is admin. It even states in there, all lowercase. So you'll put in admin, you'll put in your new password, whatever it is that you want. Make sure it's a memorable password. We're just gonna set to mind your business. And then it says the device will automatically restart. It says succeeding, the screen went blank, so it is trying to restart. So it was interesting. It's interesting that these Canaans will start hashing, but if you go into like the pool configuration, there's nothing there. So it is hashing somewhere, or it wouldn't be able to get that hash rate up there. And it's not like it's getting to a static hash rate. It was just at 5.73, then it was at 6.1, then 6.3, then back down to 6.1. So it's definitely hashing somewhere. So that's interesting. So then, of course, once it reboots, it gets in there. We're going to go back into it on our app, and then we're going to go update this thing so that it mines for us right now. So if you go into the main screen, it will say Nano 3S will pop it up on the screen. It'll say Nano 3S, it'll say the room location, whichever you programmed in it. Then you have 3 main toggles. You have work mode, light control, and settings. So the first thing we want to do, let's just look at, we're going to go into our settings, and we're going to update our pool configuration because we want this thing to mine for us. Again, if you need more in-depth tutorial, check out the previous video where we really go in depth and we show you the full setup and everything. But you're going to go to pool config, and then it has 3 different tabs in here, and then each tab has pool address, worker 1, and password. So you're going to go in there, you're going to set your pool address, where you're going to mine to. If you need help finding a mining address, it needs to be a SHA-256. Which is the algorithm that Bitcoin's on. You can go to miningpoolstats.stream, search by Bitcoin or by the algorithm SHA-256. Then you can find different coins that are also on there, such as Digibytes, Bitcoin Cash. You would jump to their pool, get their pool configuration, which would be their stratum plus TCP : / then the mining pool address : and the port number. Then you are going to put your worker name, and it depends on what pool you're mining to. If you were mining to say like a F2 pool or via BTC, you actually create a login. That's going to be your worker name, and then you can put a period and name it. So you could put say my name on F2 pool or on via BTC. Say my name was altered component. I would put altered component dot and then Avalon Nano 3S or 3S, just Nano 3S. That way I would know which device I have on that specific pool when I look at the pool mining itself. And another caveat is once you get that in, you put your password. A lot of times you use the default password of just X or whatever the site, the pool dictates. Then you're gonna put a pool address for all three. All three tabs have to be populated. You can use the same pool in all three, or you can use different pools in each one and they act as a backup. So if the first pool for whatever reason goes down, it's not connecting, it would then try the next pool and try to connect and start mining to that and so forth. And then it rotates until it gets one and connects to it. Now, once you get all of your pool information, worker, and password in there for all three, you hit save, and then it's gonna ask you, and then it's gonna restart this guy. It's gonna reboot, and then it's gonna start connecting and trying to hash. And as long as your pool is configured properly and you have a valid address worker name in there, it should start firing up and start hashing away. So right now we're already up to 148 watts at the wall. The display is still not all the way there. It shows 135 watts with no hash rate yet. It takes a little while for that hash rate to actually read in there. But yeah, that is the complete setup to get it mining. Now there are some other options. Let's go back into it in the app. And there are a few different options we want to discuss in here. So the three options, again, when you first launch it, you have work mode, light control, and your settings. Your settings, of course, is where you would change your password, change your pool config. You can clear your filter, which mine's showing 4%, which is kind of weird. It shows warranty sync time. That's something that is pretty cool if for some reason it's not pulling in the right time. But this is another feature. It pulled in the right time based on my Wi-Fi. Once it connected to my network, it actually has the correct time automatically pulled in, and it says PM just like it should, and it actually pulled in the date. So it pulled in the date, time, all onto our nice display. Still hasn't got the hash rate in there yet, but that's our settings. So we just went through our whole settings tab. Now, of course, we have the nice light control to control the LEDs. You have on button, off button. You have an on button, off button. You have a stay, flash, breathing. So let's do breathing mode because that's kind of my favorite there. And then it'll do like the pulsing. You could also, and it's set to a static color. You could also do loop and it goes through all of them. You have a brightness slider here. You have a color wheel for your palette to change your color. Let's just, let's put the fancy green and see how that looks. I bet the green looks, yeah, the green doesn't look too bad. Let's go back to red. And now we've got our, that's more of a pink. Pink looks cute though, pink on white, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so then you've got a color temperature adjustment for warm or cool. But yeah, that's your light modes. Those are it's pretty nice. So initially I thought that they weren't going to include the lights because none of the early pictures showed the LED, and I thought that was going to be a huge miss because that's part of the beauty of the Nano 3. So then we've got those set. Let's talk about what we're hashing at first and foremost. So this thing should be doing 6 terahashes on 140 watts. We are currently at 145 at the wall, 130 on the device, so 15 watt disparity, but it's showing 4.7 terahash, and I have an assumption that it's not all the way up to where it needs to be yet, and it's on high mode. So then we have our different modes. That's where you go into the work mode button, and you have a low, medium, and high, and of course that's your different power usage and your different hash rates. So on those ones behind me, the regular 3s, I was a really strong proponent of only running them on medium mode for longevity, and so far it has proven successful. Those things have been running since they launched with 0 issues on the stock power supplies. And I highly believe it's because we're running them on medium mode, which is putting a lot less stress on them. So next we're going to go ahead and just quickly test all 3 modes. We'll get you the hash rates and the power usage. All right, hash rates. Let's go over the hash rates real quick. The high hash rate for my device, of course, silicon lottery. Different devices will hash better or worse, just depending on the quality of the chips within. They could be cut out of the same wafer, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the chips will be equal. So that out of the way. My device is using 6.3 terahash on high, 130 watts at the device, and 144 at the wall. So this guy isn't the most efficient power supply right here. It's not too bad on the heat transfer at least, so that's a good thing. Now, medium mode, we did 4.75 terahash, 92 watts on the device, 101 watt from the wall. Low hash rate, 3.43 terahash, 63 watts at the device, 70 watts at the wall. So on low power, you're actually using half the electric, and you're getting well above half of the advertised terahash, 3.43 on only 63 watts. That's pretty impressive, to be honest. Like, that blows the doors off of the old the regular Nano 3. So that's interesting. So yeah, there's our hash rates. Now, where you choose to use it, I personally am going to run this one on medium mode as well, just like I have been the other. I don't want to overly push these things because I'm going for the long-term play, man. I just want these things to hash and hash and hash, and maybe someday we hit a block. So next, what's the important part is profitability. First and foremost, these are considered Bitcoin lottery devices. They are solo miners. Can you pool mine with these? First and foremost, solo mine means that you're running them on a pool and you're hoping that your device solves the block, solves the equation. If it does, you get all of the rewards minus maybe 1 or 2% to the pool, depending on which pool you mine. So do your own research there. But then there's pool mining. What's pool mining? It means that you and potentially hundreds of others are all mining as a group, hoping to hit a block, and when it hits a block, you all split that block reward. So let's talk about what this would actually earn if you were pool mining. I'm only going to talk about on the high mode. So on high mode, this would earn you about 29 cents per day for mining before electricity. On 12 cents per kilowatt hour, I would be actually using 40 cents a day electric. 12 cents per kilowatt hour, I would use 40 cents electric. And so it would be a profit of negative 12 cents per day. Running this on high mode will cost me about 40 cents per day. So just keep that in mind. That's why I say this is a solo miner. You can solo mine on Bitcoin Cash, Digibytes, any of the other algorithms, but you really need to be using this on solo. Personally, I'm going to be running on Bitcoin, and if someday I hit a block, I'll say yippee yippee. It's a very small chance that I'll ever hit a block, but there's a chance, right? There's a chance that someday I would hit a block. In the block reward's currently 3.125 Bitcoin. So whatever a Bitcoin is worth multiplied by 3.125. So you're talking about over $250,000, easily over $250,000 today at the current Bitcoin price. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. And don't think, oh, that can't happen, you can't do that. The BitAxe is only, Gamma is doing 1.2 terahash a second. 2 times this past year, they have hit a block with a BitAxe Gamma. Actually, one was a BitAxe Gamma, one was a BitAxe Ultra or Supra, and those are only doing 500 gigahash. So there is a chance, there is a possibility. That's what we're talking about here. Now, the important part, how much did I pay for this? I paid 395 Singapore dollars, SGD. How much is that in US? That is $295 USD, shipped to door with the power supply, as you see it right here. That was from the Indiegogo site. I'll make sure to put links down in the description. Again, so that takes a while to get them in hand, but there isn't import duties because it's cheaper. So it is coming direct to door, but it does take a while to get these in hand buying from Indiegogo. Where else could you buy these, and should you try any of these other sites? So a few sites that I use and I trust. Bitcoin Merch has these for sale. They are US. You will get them super quick. They will deliver. You won't have to worry about import duties again. Not really a problem. You will pay a little bit more than you would from Canaan Direct or from Indiegogo. So that's another one. Canaan Direct, you can get it directly from their site, order it from there, and you're going to pay the same as your Indiegogo. Where else? If you're in the EU, Mineshop.eu. You could also use them in the US, but it's going to take a little while to get there. They are an upstanding company, and I highly trust them and Guntis, and it's a well-run organization. So where else? Crypto Miner Bros is another company that I use and trust. Again, US based, you'll get them in hand quickly, low hassle, and again, a company that I've used and trust. So yeah, there it is. That is the Canaan Avalon Nano 3S. Should you buy this, and who is this targeted for? Again, it's a solo miner, it's a lotto miner. You may never make a penny back on this. So who's that for then? That means, number one, somebody with expendable income. If you're not worried about ever recouping the money, but someday you could get rich, then that's for you. If you can afford the electric, for me at 12 cents per kilowatt hour, again, at full hash rate mode, full power, it's gonna use like 40 cents per day to run one of these. Personally, I'm running it at medium mode, so anywhere between a quarter and 40 cents per day of electric to run this thing and just let it go. Then there is the added utility. This is a heater. Let's not forget that this is a heater, number one. Number two, it is a beautiful design. Number three, it's a conversation piece. Those are additional benefits to this item. So if you can afford it, you can afford the electricity, it's not going to put you in a financial hardship, then yeah, by all means, buy one of these, buy a couple of these, put them in different rooms, use the heat functionality in the winter, use the beautiful sleekness, put it on your living room table, start conversations, get other people into Bitcoin mining, because man, that's what it's all about, man. It's about the community. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. If you have questions or concerns, make sure to post them down below. Tell us what you think of this device. Is it a waste of money, or is it a really cool, innovative piece of technology? I lean towards the latter, but then again, I'm a nerd and I love this stuff. This stuff's amazing to me. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up for today. If you're new to mining, need some help, make sure to join the Misfit Mining Discord. Always plenty of seasoned vets and are willing to help you out. And if you like the video, you know what to do. Smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Thanks for coming along and enjoy the ride. Psh